It's a fascinating program funded by the Department of Labor through the Unemployment Insurance Division. It's basically an unemployment insurance program, but it's paired with career services. My sense is that the way that Massachusetts does RESEA is looked on as a best practice.
Sure.
That Department of Labor, certainly unemployment assistance or unemployment insurance, they want those folks, coming back and getting off of collecting the benefit as soon as possible. So I do hear that we may be a little more stringent, but we hold on to our customers a little bit longer
Right.
and give them some more support and skills. And that's how we like to think about that. Right. What are the requirements? What do people need to know and to go through?
Well, I think one of the first things is the engagement with the career centers directly. So requesting that folks come in for a career center seminar where they learn about all the services of the career center and they start the process of the RESEA program.
And they're required to come.
They are required to come in.
So everyone who files an unemployment insurance claim, or 89% of everyone who files an unemployment insurance claim, it has to go through this process.
That's how it's been historically. I think that is changing, though.
So RESEA, in essence, is a 5-week program. And once a customer has been deemed eligible to receive unemployment assistance and they get their first unemployment check, then that's when they're enrolled in the program, and that's when the 5 weeks starts. And the requirements: first, they must attend a career center seminar, and they must attend an initial RESEA meeting at the career center. A part of it has to be face-to-face with an employment counselor. And the employment counselor will make sure that they're aware of all the other requirements that they have to do during the duration of the program.
When they first file their unemployment insurance claim, how much time do they have before they have to do this seminar?
I think the idea behind it is to get the quick engagement of the career center.
Yeah.
But with the RESEA program, it really depends on some things that are happening in the background. So some people I know have had experiences where it's been 2 weeks and they've been enrolled in the RESEA program, and some folks have waited 8 weeks. And again, that depends on what's happening in the background with their employers, if they get the paperwork in on time, and how much research the folks at unemployment have to do.
Then there are some, for lack of a better term, homework, things that they need to do within that period, which is doing some labor market research, doing some tracking of their job search activity on a weekly basis. For each week they are collecting unemployment, they must do at least 3 job search activities. Then they must put together a resume.
And JobQuest.
And JobQuest, right. So being registered in JobQuest is something that we want to have people do.
And that's a Massachusetts requirement.
That's a Massachusetts
Correct.
requirement. Right.
Okay, so you get the letter, and it says you have to come to a
Career Center seminar. So the Career Center seminar and the initial RESEA in Massachusetts typically happen on the same day. So you get the information about the Career Center when you come in for the Career Center seminar, and then on that same day, possibly within a couple of hours of that CCS taking place, you meet individually with a RESEA specialist, a counselor, who does an assessment for you.
And that one-on-one, immediately after the Career Center seminar,
Correct.
is where you start to talk about labor market information, your resume, and then all of the other requirements.
There are a couple of other requirements, though. Between the time that the customer does their interim RESEA and the RESEA review, they have to come up with another activity or service, value added, that they're going to do, and the career counselor will help them decide that, and they will have that completed before their RESEA review. It's critical that they identify it as something that is going to add value to this person's job search.
Or there are remote services as well that some career centers offer, online workshops.
Once those things are all done, and at the RESEA review, this is where the counselor and the customer sit down and they review all of these things that have taken place. And at that point, once it's been completed within 5 weeks, but it's not done yet, because there is a follow-up activity. The counselor and the customer agree on some follow-up activity. It may be a workshop, it may be something else that's connected to the Career Center, and that we can check in to make sure that that takes place.
It's a sort of a jumping off point as well for the other programs and opportunities they can find in the Career Center.
So RESEA is fully engaging. I mean, it's kind of wrapping itself around an individual and their job search, and at least making sure that they have the basic understanding the basic steps for doing a job search.
And it's, again, the intentions of RESEA are to get people back into the workforce as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible.
But it's also, the intention with WIOA is to direct those resources to those who are most in need or hardest to serve.
Sure.
And that can be a challenge to Career Centers. So it's not just sort of getting anybody through, it's sort of who is most likely to exhaust their benefits.
That's right.
How can we direct those resources towards them? And a number of different career centers and different workforce boards are being creative in terms of how they go about implementing that. RESEA has moved from a grant to a program. It was a grant that we had to renew and apply for on an annual basis, but now it is a federally funded program.
So you'll get a regular allocation every year, just like for some of the other programs.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Wow.
Customers oftentimes who are enrolled in the program see this as a negative thing when they first start off, right, as a punishment.
Sure.
But I think the way that we've really learned to speak about it is that it's almost like a gift in some way, because
It
you get
is.
engaged in the career centers and get so much out of it.
Many of them never knew anything about career centers
Right.
before they get this letter. And
Exactly.
all of a sudden, there's a whole world of resources that are available to them that they didn't even think about asking about.